Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA under an intense spotlight, with massive expectations and constant media attention, yet she has somehow exceeded even the loftiest predictions. In just a short time, she has shattered rookie records, helped transform a struggling franchise into a playoff contender, and sparked a surge of interest in women's basketball across all age groups. It's rare in any sport to see a young athlete make such an immediate and far-reaching impact, and more people are starting to recognize that they are watching something truly special unfold. That growing appreciation includes many well-known figures in the basketball world. Among them is Shaquille O'Neal, one of the sport's most recognizable personalities, who was initially skeptical of Clark's rise. Since retiring, Shaq has remained a major media presence through Inside the NBA, known for his charisma and his willingness to speak his mind. His interest in women's basketball was first fueled by the college rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, which he followed closely. As an LSU alumnus, Shaq naturally threw his support behind Reese, especially after their memorable meeting in the 2023 NCAA championship game. He has consistently praised Angel as a remarkable talent and even went so far as to call her the greatest player ever produced by LSU, ranking her above himself and the legendary Pete Maravich. Coming from a four-time NBA champion and MVP, that was extraordinary praise, and it caught even Reese herself slightly off guard.
Yeah, Shaq told me that I was the best player to come out of LSU. It puts a lot of pressure on me, and I feel like I haven't done anything.
Shaq once told me that I was the greatest player ever to come out of LSU, and hearing that put a lot of pressure on me because I felt like I still had so much to prove. Angel Reese, however, had already accomplished something monumental by winning an NCAA championship, an achievement neither Shaquille O'Neal nor Pete Maravich managed to secure during their time at LSU. That success paid off in a major way. Thanks to the new NIL rules, Reese was able to sign a lucrative shoe deal before her final college season. Unlike many elite athletes who choose Nike or Adidas, she decided to take a different path. Following in the footsteps of the legendary Big Diesel, who once wore the LSU jersey himself, Reese signed with Reebok. At the time, the brand was working to reclaim its former prominence, with Shaq serving as its president of basketball operations. The partnership drew widespread attention and cemented a very public relationship between O'Neal and Reese, one that has continued to grow. Over time, Shaq also became an unofficial mentor to Reese, offering guidance not only on basketball but on professionalism and life as a young star. He never downplayed their connection and made it clear that he held Reese in high regard long before she turned professional. Here's how he explained the role he plays in supporting his fellow LSU alum.
Telling her how to handle adversity, how to handle, controversy, and but with a person like her, you don't really want to come and say, do this and do that. I was just coming and, giving her encouraging words, just telling her, to hang in there.
It's not entirely clear how close Shaquille O'Neal's relationship with Angel Reese has been, or how frequently they stayed in touch after she entered the WNBA. What is clear, however, is that Shaq has never hidden the fact that he firmly supports her. To his credit, he has consistently remained professional in his public comments and has often spoken about his appreciation for the overall growth of women's basketball. Still, even before the WNBA season tipped off, Shaq openly declared his allegiance to Reese and quickly became one of her most vocal backers, despite also having a financial stake in her success. He was frequently spotted at Chicago Sky games, cheering on his protege and taking note of how far the women's game has come. Given all that, his most recent remarks came as a surprise. For the first time, Shaq openly acknowledged that Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese, may be the player to watch. His tone sounded genuine, almost resigned, as if he had finally accepted that even his favorite couldn't match the pace of Clark's growing list of accomplishments. These comments followed the latest matchup between Reese and Clark, a lopsided Indiana Fever victory that may have effectively settled the Rookie of the Year debate and in the process, shifted Shaq's perspective for good. "She does everything right," Shaq said. "I never really spoke about her because Angel is my girl, but I can honestly say Caitlin Clark is for real. I'm watching her play and trying to be upset, but she makes the right pass, the right play. People try to rough her up and she doesn't complain. She's great, especially this early. She's the real deal. Much respect to her, her family, and the way she was raised." After nearly 2 decades in the NBA and sharing the court with legends like Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James, Shaq knows exactly what it means to play the game the right way. And despite his long-standing loyalty to LSU, Reebok, and Angel Reese, he can't ignore the reality that no player in women's basketball is doing more remarkable things right now than Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's impact, the significance of Shaq's admission may be greater than it initially appears. It could mark a turning point in how the broader media landscape treats Clark. If even Shaquille O'Neal, despite his commercial ties and personal loyalty to Reese, can no longer promote her over Clark, it raises the question of whether anyone else can. There was never any doubt that Caitlin Clark would draw attention to the WNBA. She helped turn NCAA women's basketball into a national phenomenon, and it was widely expected that her massive fanbase would follow her into the professional ranks. The real uncertainty centered on how quickly she would adjust to the league and how long it would take for mainstream media to fully embrace her dominance. The Caitlin Clark effect was always coming. Few just expected it to hit this hard. Not only did her impact carry over to the WNBA, it intensified. The Clark effect is measurable in ratings, attendance, and revenue. In 2024, all 12 of the most watched WNBA games featured the Indiana Fever, drawing between 1.2 and 2.3 million viewers across networks. For context, the average NBA game last season attracted about 1.56 million viewers. That figure doesn't even include the WNBA All-Star Game, which pulled in 3.4 million viewers, the highest total for any WNBA broadcast since the league's inaugural season in 1997. Attendance tells a similar story. The Fever now lead the league, averaging nearly 17,700 fans per game, a staggering jump from just over 4,000 per game the previous season. That surge translates directly into massive financial gains, not only for Indiana but for the league as a whole, and the revenue potential will only continue to grow as Clark's star rises and she begins collecting major accolades. It's safe to assume the business implications haven't escaped Shaquille O'Neal. Beyond being one of the greatest centers in NBA history and a beloved media personality, Shaq is also a savvy investor with a keen eye for opportunity. He understands the value of aligning with transcendent stars, and the following clip illustrates exactly that.
Started business. The way I learned business was a gentleman gave me a book, The Dummy's Guide to Starting Your Own Business. When I was reading it, wasn't familiar with anything, but it was a chapter that really piqued my interest. Joint ventureship.
Right now, this is about the worst possible time to be a Caitlin Clark detractor. She's playing at an almost MVP caliber level and has single-handedly lifted a once struggling franchise into the playoff picture, while also pushing it to the top of the league's revenue charts. Clark stands clearly above the rest of her rookie class, serving as the undisputed leader of a team that is increasingly finding its rhythm around her. This surge explains the rise of Caitlin. Many commentators who once questioned whether her game would translate to the professional level, or who openly favored Angel Reese, have gone conspicuously quiet. When they do resurface, it's often to soften or walk back their earlier takes. At this point, criticizing Caitlin Clark means arguing against undeniable results and inviting a fierce online backlash, which is why many of the voices that once chased easy clicks by doubting her are now steering clear of the subject altogether. Slowly but surely, the mainstream sports media has reached a consensus. Caitlin Clark hasn't just met expectations, she's exceeded them. Aside from a small group of stubborn holdouts, most observers have accepted that women's basketball has a new face, and it doesn't fit the traditional WNBA mold. After captivating college audiences for years, Clark has elevated her game yet again at the professional level and now commands the full attention of the sports world. What was once considered niche programming has become primetime television, to the point where other major sports must now account for WNBA scheduling conflicts. A recent example highlights just how dramatic this shift has been. In early September, the first ever NFL game played in Brazil aired opposite an Indiana Fever matchup. Surprisingly to some, several prominent sports personalities argued that Caitlin Clark and the Fever were the real must-watch event. Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports, openly mocked anyone who chose Packers vs. Eagles over Clark's game. Honestly, only a fool would watch the NFL over the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark right now, Portnoy said. It's poetry in motion. It's art. It's beautiful. Watching them makes me want to cry tears of joy. That kind of praise would have sounded absurd not long ago, but today, it perfectly captures the moment Caitlin Clark has created. Caitlin Clark's influence now reaches well beyond diehard basketball circles, and Dave Portnoy is a perfect example of that reach. As one of the most recognizable figures in U.S. sports media, Portnoy didn't just praise Clark. He backed her with real money, placing a $100,000 bet on the Indiana Fever to win the 2024 WNBA championship, despite the franchise having missed the playoffs for years. For someone of his stature to show that level of confidence in Clark is remarkable. and it has the potential to introduce her and the women's game to an even broader audience. Consider that more than half of Americans identify as NFL fans, and that in 2022, 88 of the 100 most watched televised sporting events were NFL games. If even a small fraction of that audience shifts its attention toward Caitlin Clark, the growth potential for her fan base is enormous. That reality raises an important question. Has Caitlin Clark finally earned the full respect of the mainstream sports media? It may still be too soon to say for certain. Critics could re-emerge quickly if she hits a slump or if the Fever are eliminated early in the playoffs. For now, though, the loudest and most influential voices in sports media appear firmly behind her, openly declaring Clark to be the future face of the WNBA. This shift could represent the final stage of her rise, what Stephen A. Smith has described as her ascent to the very top of the sports power hierarchy. It may also signal a changing of the guard, with the league becoming more closely associated with Clark than with established stars like Brittany Griner, Aya Wilson, or Sabrina Ionescu. The WNBA has long needed a singular figure who could resonate with the broader public, and the 22-year-old rookie seems to have passed that test with flying colors. Few sports journalists carry more influence than Stephen A. Smith. Renowned for his deep basketball knowledge, extensive sources, and unapologetically bold opinions, Smith is rarely subtle. Yet when discussing Caitlin Clark, he struck a noticeably measured tone, calmly outlining the qualities that set her apart and explaining why her game deserves appreciation on a collective level. That kind of endorsement, coming from someone with Smith's reach and credibility, speaks volumes about where Caitlin Clark now stands in the sports world.
She's leading the league in assists. Since July 10th, she's the second leading scorer in the NBA behind A'ja Wilson, averaging 23.8 points per game.
Caitlin Clark is making history. She became the first rookie in WNBA history to record multiple triple-doubles in a single season, and she has Indiana firmly on track for a playoff appearance. The Fever are winning games, and Clark is the driving force behind it. There's no serious debate left. She is the clear Rookie of the Year and already ranks among the league's top 3 or 4 MVP candidates. What she's doing is remarkable, and it deserves full recognition. Beyond her on-court dominance, countless people connected to the WNBA owe her a debt of gratitude, because the visibility and credibility she has brought to the league are impossible to quantify. Everything Stephen A. Smith pointed out about Clark is simply undeniable. There is no arguing with her production, especially over the past 2 months. But Smith went further, emphasizing her impact on the business side of the league. How many careers are benefiting financially because of her presence? Clark has a rare ability to elevate everything around her, yet she does so without constantly promoting her brand or drawing attention to her off-court interests. That's precisely why media voices have a responsibility to acknowledge her greatness and express appreciation rather than diminish it. The Charles Barkley effect. Unfortunately, not everyone has lived up to that responsibility. Some commentators have done the opposite, attempting to undermine Clark instead. Charles Barkley, however, has had enough. The Hall of Fame power forward and longtime inside the NBA analyst is known for speaking bluntly, and he hasn't held back when addressing how Clark has been treated. Barkley has been clear that media narratives matter, because audiences believe what they hear on television. Personal dislike or disagreements with someone's personality, he argues, do not justify tearing them down publicly. "This girl is incredible," Barkley said, emphasizing the unprecedented level of attention she has brought to both the college game and the professional ranks. What makes Barkley's stance especially notable is his understanding of how careless commentary can harm an athlete's reputation, and even their earning potential. While he may not deliver his message with Stephen A. Smith's polish, the substance is nearly identical. Enough is enough. It's time to stop the nonsense and give Caitlin Clark the respect she has earned. Barkley has gone so far as to suggest that much of the criticism stems from personal resentment, a claim that carries weight coming from someone deeply embedded in basketball media. By calling out his peers directly, he is daring anyone to challenge his assessment of Clark's importance to the sport. That was never easy to do during his playing days, and it may be even harder now that he is one of the highest-paid studio analysts in the business. As Clark continues to convert skeptics into believers, and earns praise from legends like Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley, the financial ripple effects tied to her presence are expanding rapidly. The WNBA has been reinvigorated by her arrival and is still adjusting to its newfound popularity and reach. Once viewed as the NBA's overlooked little sibling, the league is now outperforming its parent organization on NBA TV. In fact, the most watched game on the network in the past year was the September 1st matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings, narrowly edging out a Warriors-Cavaliers game from last November. In simple terms, more people tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark than to watch the NBA. Much like Stephen Curry's impact on the NBA, Caitlin Clark has created a rare opportunity for the WNBA, one it would be wise to fully capitalize on. Ideally, the league should reinvest this unexpected financial surge into stronger infrastructure, improving the quality of play and potentially expanding with a few new franchises. Fans have made it clear they are hungry for more women's basketball. What remains uncertain is how boldly the league will respond to this sudden spike in demand. Significant changes could be on the horizon, including revised salary structures, expanded national television coverage, improved travel conditions, and even league expansion. While Clark's brilliance is the primary catalyst, the benefits would extend far beyond her, impacting current players and future generations alike. If the WNBA wants to follow the NBA's blueprint for sustained growth, a transcendent superstar with a magnetic personality and extraordinary skill set is essential. Caitlin Clark fits that role perfectly, and her popularity is already reshaping the league's landscape. The next logical step is global expansion, and Clark is helping there too. Fever games have already drawn international fans who traveled thousands of miles just to watch her play. One memorable example featured a woman from Australia holding a sign proudly marking her journey. Moments like that won't be isolated. As Clark's legend spreads overseas, the league is poised to gain international exposure, opening the door to lucrative broadcast deals in wealthy global markets. That influx of revenue could allow the WNBA to better compete with top European leagues in terms of salaries and player retention. No one appears immune to the Caitlin Clark effect, and that's why this transformation may happen sooner than expected. With deeper financial resources, the league will be better positioned to improve its on-court product, both by attracting elite talent and accelerating the development of players already in the system. If events continue trending in the right direction, the WNBA could evolve into a major asset for the NBA, which currently owns 50% of the league. While it's unrealistic to expect women's basketball to match the men's game in global revenue anytime soon, the gap no longer feels insurmountable. Figures like Shaquille O'Neal and Dave Portnoy may have arrived late to the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, but their recent support suggests they're not going anywhere. In hindsight, those who recognized Clark's potential early were simply ahead of the curve. Back in June, her most devoted supporters believed she could compete with, and outperform, anyone in the WNBA. At the time, they were dismissed as biased or delusional. Now, as praise pours in from every corner of the basketball world, those fans are being vindicated. For early believers, watching the mainstream media finally rally behind Clark feels like a hard-earned victory, even if the resistance they faced hasn't been forgotten. If you were one of the people who argued months ago that Caitlin Clark was the greatest prospect the WNBA had ever seen, you're looking pretty sharp right now, and this may only be the beginning. Imagine how much louder the momentum becomes if the Fever make a deep playoff run. There's no reason for believers to dial back their expectations. Clark has clearly figured out how to win at this level, and the postseason experience will only sharpen her championship instincts. While Dave Portnoy's 2024 title bet may be premature, next season could tell a very different story. Odds are Caitlin Clark won't have to wait long to lift the one trophy that truly matters, and when she does, her most loyal fans will experience the ultimate payoff. That moment is coming, and it will be worth the wait.